Hello everyone, and welcome to this latest entry in my video series all about how I'm working to overcome my fear of flying through VR. In this video, I'd like to talk about claustrophobia on planes and how I try to manage my own experience when I encounter that feeling. For those of us who experience this feeling, claustrophobia can be an uncomfortable experience. Even for people who aren't normally claustrophobic, modern airline travel, with ever-decreasing seat space, can provide lots of opportunities to trigger feelings of being trapped or hemmed in. For people like me, with a fear of flying, feeling claustrophobic on a plane is another anxious and unpleasant situation that I have to deal with. Fortunately, I've identified some of the aspects that make me feel particularly bad, and I use virtual reality to practice something that I call the 3 W's in order to counteract these feelings. My 3 W's for fighting claustrophobia are where I sit, what I think, and what I do. Let's dive into these 3 W's and talk about each in a little more detail. The first W stands for where I sit. I found that my anxiety level increases if I'm sitting in the middle or aisle seats. I need to feel like I can see outside of the window to reassure myself that we're not falling out of the sky, to give my eyes something to look at, and to give my mind something to process. This is harder to do at night or in cloudy weather, or if I can't manage to get a window seat on a flight, so I don't rely on this W to fight my anxiety completely. It's more of a nice to have rather than a must have. Interestingly, this feeling can change depending on the person. My wife, for example, much prefers the aisle seat since it lets her feel like she has a bit more room. Regardless of your personal preference, choosing my seat is one, but not the only way to fight claustrophobia. The second W stands for what I think. This has to do with practicing mindfulness techniques and repeating a few mantras that help keep me feeling grounded. As I'm sitting in my seat, I try to think about what my body is feeling, starting at my toes and rising inch by inch until I get to the tip of my scalp. I try to concentrate on each sensation, getting out of my own head and concentrating instead on being centered in my body. Another technique I have is to remind myself that, though I obviously can't get out of the plane, I do have the power to control my own thinking and my own space. I'll repeat several mantras to myself that help keep my anxiety down, such as, flying is inherently safe, flying is inherently safe, flying is inherently safe, or, I'm not trapped, I'm in control, I'm not trapped, I'm in control. Finally, the third W stands for what I do. I think about this W in terms of what all I can do with my own body that helps me feel free and in control despite being on a plane. In my seat, I will focus on my breathing, focus on my sensations, and oftentimes put my hands on my thighs in the brace position. This helps keep me feeling centered. I'll also focus on deep breathing, practicing the 4-7-8 technique, breathing in through my nose for 4 seconds, holding it in for 7 seconds, and breathing out through my mouth for 8 seconds. In addition to my breathing, I'll make sure I'm taking the time to stretch, in my seat as much as my space will allow me, but also by standing up and walking around the airplane a bit. The act of walking itself can decrease my sense of feeling trapped or pressed in. I think about these 3 W's, where I sit, what I think, and what I do, in virtual reality, and then put them into practice when I'm on a real flight. By themselves, they're not a cure for my fear of flying, but there's still more tools for me to use, and they help me feel less claustrophobic in the air. For helpful links to topics I talked about here, please check out the video description. If you have any personal experiences or thoughts, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. And of course, if you like this video and would like to see more content like this, hit those like and subscribe buttons below the videos. Please keep in mind I'm not a licensed therapist or mental health professional. These videos document my personal experiences and should be taken as entertainment only.
Welcome for your comfort and safety. The safety notes about it remain seated with your seatbelts, fastened. You guys are drinking with the full upright arm position, all your